Good morning, Mama. It is time to wake up and be wealthy. It is time for you to become rich AF.
Sweet.
It is time for more ease, flow, and fun for you. It is time to build a life and business you are madly in love with. It is time to unlock the wealth codes needed to build your business with your dedicated host, me, Nellie Corriveau.
One more time.
Nellie Corriveau. I am the CEO and founder of the Wealthy Mama Movement, and I want to officially welcome you to the Wake Up and Be Wealthy show. I am the master at sales and social media with over 17 years of experience building brands in multiple industries, resulting in millions of dollars.
Nice.
I've mentored countless women from starting their businesses all the way up to multi-millionaires. I am here to be your go-to mama to help you build an iconic brand that you are proud of that creates massive cash and impact in the world. Without further ado, let's unlock today's episode. Enjoy! Good morning! It's time to wake up and be wealthy. I missed you. I hope you had a fabulous weekend. Oh, I slept so much this past weekend. Oh my gosh. I have loved every minute of all the go from Funnel Hacking Live to Vegas to WealthCon to Wealth Codes Live for Inner Circle. But my body and brain are like, praise Jesus that we are complete and we just have, odds and ends to like button up before baby. And so I slept so much this weekend. I did a massive brain dump of just all the things I want to complete before baby in all the areas of my life and prioritize them so it's in order of importance. And that felt really good. I cleaned our house up. This is like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I went through our pantry because it was looking a little cray-cray and the nesting is already in full force. We had so much expired food just sitting in the pantry. And like when I opened the pantry this morning, it felt so calm and organized. And like we actually can see what foods we have that are actually not expired and we can use them. So that felt like a huge win. And I woke up this morning and just journaled and had a little bit of slow time. My CEO time used to be so intense, and I've allowed it just to shift and be what it needs to be, what I want it to be, what feels good. I have no doubt once baby is here that it will be very relaxed, just as like my time to breathe, and I'm excited about that. So today we are chatting how to fall in love with paying off debt. So I have so much to say about this topic, and debt has been a very difficult subject for me. Ever since I was 18, I've had debt, and I am now 32. I had to think of what age I am. So that's a long time to live with debt and to not really have good energy, like a good relationship with debt. And so, I went from opening up a little credit card to then graduating. So I basically got a credit card when I graduated. I think it had like a $500 limit. It wasn't anything crazy, but no one really taught me how to use it. It was just like, okay, I have this thing and it has $500. Then I got like a Macy's credit card, which I will have thoughts about that with Emma because it's like, they're such high interest rates, and they try to lure you in with like a good discount. But it can just start to rack up really fast. So did that, and then had a bunch of student loans. I paid as much as I could in school, but obviously when you go to a private college, there's only so much you can do. So I went from that, then having all the student loan debt, having a little credit card, having a Macy's credit card, to really never knowing like how to feel about debt. So it always just kind of felt awful, and I really like avoided it. And I had to like I got a Capital One card at, I think, close to the end of college, to like have something I could use with a bigger credit line, quite honestly, to get by. And that credit card helped me pay for groceries, to be quite honest. It literally helped me survive. And so, but it never felt good. I always just felt so strapped for money, and just felt like I was always living paycheck to paycheck, which just doesn't feel great, to be honest. So I always say that you need to have a really good relationship with money in order for it to feel good and to attract more of it. And so that also goes with our debt, right? Like, no matter how much debt you have, debt is not good or bad. And so for over a decade, I have felt like debt is bad. I listened and subscribed to Dave Ramsey, and he, really likes to express how much he does not like debt, and how much you should, sacrifice and eat beans and rice and pay off all of your debt as quickly as possible. Which that's his philosophy, and he's able to share that philosophy. But it also can come with a lot of shame. And so then going into post-college, adding up all those student loans, getting married, I started to slowly, like, my energy around debt did start to shift. I knocked out a bunch of debt, both, the Macy's credit card. I think at one point I even had an Express credit card. Again, my belief is just don't do retail credit cards. They're, especially if you love to shop, it's like, all the spending for clothes. But with that, I paid off, I paid off the Macy's, paid off the Express. But it's always just felt like I'll pay one thing off and then it will fill back up. I'll pay one thing off and I'll fill back up. We did knock out my student loans together as a couple, which felt really, really good. We did that in record time, which was amazing. So then I started to invest in the stock market, which was really, really fun, because what I noticed was the more money that I have made, the more I want to spend. And I quite honestly think it's because of all the decades that I have not felt like I've had the money, that now that I have it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to buy nice things, right? And so investing in the stock market has been actually quite a blessing from a even mindset standpoint, because it's out of sight, out of mind. And so I was able to put, I believe, almost a $10,000, it was close to $10,000 deposit on my Jeep, because of the stock market. Literally, I think I transferred $25 automatically every single week. So over a few years, that added up really fast and compounded because of the stock market, which was great. So that felt really, really good. So my relationship with money has come a really long way. I still have a little bit more debt that I'm knocking out, but the one thing that I've really worked on over the past even few months is really releasing all that shame around debt, and really realizing that it really isn't good or bad. And if it has helped me, get by and survive, then awesome. I'm ready for the next level, which is using debt in a different way. So, no more clothing credit cards, and paying off the credit cards in full every single month. So I have really enjoyed seeing all the debt it's literally decreased, knowing that it's the end of an era, to be a little bit dramatic, because I feel like finally I'm addressing the root issue, which was forgiving myself for feeling like I had to survive, right? Like I had no other choice. And so forgiving myself for it getting, I don't want to say out of hand, because it wasn't like I was going bananas, right? But I did the best that I could in the situation that I had. But now I have a different reality. I have different resources, that I don't need the debt. It almost is like the last piece of me is dying. The old me is dying, and that actually is really exciting. But I think I've almost been scared of it until now. And so I've had to really heal and forgive myself and know that I'm going into a new level, and it's exciting. And, we will have, most likely, we will have a mortgage with our dream home, just based on the level of home that we want. And I'm okay with that. If we pull out a credit line for furniture or anything like that, I'm okay with that. But it's more so the things that don't need to happen anymore. And so just really releasing all of that has been just very freeing. And I've noticed that the debt is starting to take care of itself. There's extra cash coming in, and I'm like, ooh, okay, let's apply that to debt. And it's going down every single week very, very quickly. And so, this is how I believe you fall in love with the process, and understanding that it's not bad. If you have debt, it's okay. It's deciding what feels good to you. And so what does not feel good to me anymore is credit card debt that carries over, because the interest rates are they start to become really outrageous. So we can use a credit card to help with cash flow, even by just a few weeks, but then it gets eliminated, right? You pay it off by the end of the month, or you add up all the awesome points, right? But it's really the relationship that you work on with debt, just as if it's a literal person, right? Have you ever had a friendship that was a little rocky for a while, and then the more you invested in that relationship or friendship or whatever it may be, or even your marriage, right, it got better and better and better. And so that's what we want. That's what at least I want for you, and what I've been working on. And knowing that, somebody at some point trusted you with, X amount of a credit line, which is actually pretty powerful when you start to think about it. And equally, I've had conversations with some friends because they have not been approved for a credit card as a woman. And that's frustrating as hell, because they're like, if I could just have a line of credit, it could help me with cash flow. It could help me get to my next goal faster, right? I could invest in my business. And so even now in my business, I've been blessed to earn credit lines. And I say earn because I've had to have the history, because at some point I was denied too. So I had to build up the history, right? The sales, the financials, to prove that it's not risky lending me capital funding, right? And so that is a huge compliment, that I've put in the time, I've gotten capital funding, I've paid it back, right? It's huge. So it's really just working through the energy and the relationship with the debt. And, I think one of the biggest things I've noticed is shifting even how I handle my debt. So the Wealthy Wednesday that I talk about a lot, I pay off debt every single week. I have moved purchases off of credit cards and onto debit cards so that the debt is not being added to, right? We've significantly decreased our expenses. Like, we have no more office spaces. Our team is more lean. So even as simple as, I should say, it's not as simple, but those big moves have been massive for my business because it's opened up cash flow. So, I'll most likely, based on the trends that I'm seeing, I'll probably make the same amount of money that I did last year, but I'm working less, way less, and we were able to make more, right? Because it's not all the expenses. So that's the cool part that I'm really looking forward with all the debt being eliminated, is because it does take a huge chunk of your monthly income. Like, when you really start to think about it, when you pay the car loan, when you pay the credit card, when you pay whatever it may be, when you add that all up, what is a fun exercise to do is really start to think about, okay, once this is paid off, I'm used to paying this amount of money, right? And once it's paid off, once these are all paid off, what could I use that for, right? Could you hire a new team member? Could you give yourself a bonus, right? And I think that's a really, really fun and powerful exercise to do to motivate you to fall in love with paying off your debt. One strategy I will say, because I get asked this a lot, is like, what is the fastest way to pay off debt? And so it depends on your personality. Some will say attack the highest interest rate first, even if it's the highest amount, because obviously you're paying a lot. But if that one is a really big amount, it can feel like you're never going to get there. So then some people suggest go to the one that is the smallest amount. I have personally loved that one because then I can use that extra cash for the next one. So that's called like a snowball effect. And so I've really enjoyed doing that more so, because then it's like, ooh, I just gotten one done. Hell yeah, let's go. It's kind of like tasks. So that has been super empowering for me, of like just seeing not only the overall number go down, but the overall like accounts of what I owe, like, or where I owe it, is going down and down and down and down. So I think deciding on what feels good to you, and maybe even playing with what gives you the most results. But we've got to stop the leak, right? Or leaks. We can't keep adding to the debt. So like a while ago, I cut up a credit card so I'm not tempted to use it. And that has been huge. Deciding the snowball effect, paying with debit, which is essentially cash, right? It's the 21st century of cash. So I pay on my debit card rather than my credit cards. And that's been a huge shift too. But the most important thing that I want you to hear today is the energy around the debt. Debt is not good or bad. And most likely if you do feel like it's bad, it's because you're living and operating in an old you, but you're now in the present and you've grown. And that's how I've felt, of like, I'm no longer the girl that is living paycheck to paycheck, but yet I still have credit cards like she did, and amounts like she did. And so it's almost like a identity crisis. And so I'm looking forward to having no debt and just feeling what it feels like. And like I said, if we have a mortgage, we have a mortgage. If we have a line of credit for furniture, that's all an investment in our dream home that we've wanted forever. And if it helps us stretch out payments, then there's nothing wrong with that. But it's cleaning up all of this other stuff that really still feels like I'm living in the past. So it's like wiping the slate clean from the past, as where the energy of the dream home and the furniture will feel like my new wealthy self. And if she thinks it makes the most sense to have a line of credit for the furniture and or the mortgage, we're still going to pay those things off really, really fast, because that's how wealthy me operates, right? So it's really like, what it is for me is wiping the slate clean of the past and completely breaking free from it, because I've broken free from it with relationships, with no more office spaces, and really just cleaning it all up. The cleanup is the hardest part. And so this just really does feel like the last piece to it. And I cannot wait to see how much my confidence explodes after this, how much my energy explodes, how much my business explodes, just simply because this feels like the last piece. But in the process of that, I want to feel good about it, because if we don't, then it's going to just continue to happen again and again and again. And I've seen that self-sabotaging behavior in the past, where I'm like, let's pay off this debt. But I wasn't stopping and slowing down and like really healing the wounds, right? It's kind of like if you get like, I on Friday, I scraped my knees because I fell going upstairs. Don't ask. I fell going up the stairs outside on my front porch. And so there was cement and I like skinned my knees, which was not fun. And they're sore, right? So there's a wound there. And I put Neosporin on it. I put Band-Aids on it, and it's healing, right? But I could argue that like if I didn't do any of those things, or something, a wound similar, if you don't address it, it's going to get infected, right? It's going to like grow. It's going to get worse, right? And so I really think debt is so similar in the regards to like, if you don't heal from it, you may be able to like put a Band-Aid on it, but it may be causing internal or external damage if we don't really truly address it. So I hope that this was really helpful to like take a different approach with your debt, feel different about it, and heal once and for all. And it really is how you show up for your money every single day. And healing, and healing doesn't happen overnight, but it's really just acknowledging that like, oh my gosh, like I've grown so much. And so every time I do Wealthy Wednesday, I heal more and more and more. Every time I spend money, I say I'm excited to spend this money. I know it's coming back to me, and not living in scarcity. So all of these things and so many more have just been life-changing for me. Truly, like life-changing. So I'm super excited for you. I hope this episode really served and supported you. If there's anyone that you know that is struggling with this, please send this their way so that they can feel better about this, and we can heal the world together. So have a fantastic day. I'll see you back tomorrow.
Woo! Is your head spinning? I hope you took so many notes and you feel so inspired. Time truly flies when you're learning about becoming wealthy AF. I hope you loved today's episode. That does it for us on the show. Don't forget, every weekday we unlock another juicy money-making episode. So be sure to subscribe or follow where you're listening to this. And also, don't forget, if you haven't already, to leave us a 5-star review on your podcast platform so we can take over the world together. And share a takeaway on social media and tag me at The Wealthy Mama. We love doing spontaneous prize giveaways. So don't forget to tag us with a takeaway so we can reward you as being one of our biggest fans and listeners. Until next time, don't forget, you are worthy of being wealthy. And from everyone at the Wealthy Mama movement, we love you. Make it a great day.